buys the wrong greeting card at Walmart, then has a huge burden in the story. Is that part of a short story, finding small moments and glinting little moments which then stand for the bigger?
I'm sorry. I'm gonna hold to my line. It certainly is true in those stories, but there's nothing about those particular moments in those two stories, even for Kenosha and a Free Day, that couldn't occur in a novel with the same impact.
Part of the art of the interviewer is to elucidate and open up truths by asking stupid questions. So that's absolutely fine.
It's not a stupid question at all. It's a question one wants to know. But for me, a practitioner of both, I am for this one moment in time the world's greatest expert.
Very good. Ruth, let's turn to a similar subject in the 19th century in England, because of course George Eliot, she writes short stories early on, but she soon turns to the novel as her form, and these are great big novels. To what extent in the 19th century was the short story seen as an inferior form?
I wouldn't say it was an inferior form. I mean, I guess what I can see, and many people have noticed, is provincial writing, that attentive, detailed story of the everyday, really started out in these short forms in magazines and periodicals like the Ladies' Magazine, Blackwood's Magazine, and often using another kind of form, a very visual form like the sketch or the tale, or something to do with time, the chronicle and the annal, that you're moving through time in a different way. And I suppose thinking of your conversation with Richard, as readers, I think the experience is so very different of these sorts of forms, because you're moving across a collection of short stories or through a chronicle like, say, Barchester Towers, Trollope's Barchester Towers, Mrs. Oliphant's Carlingford Chronicles. You're set in one town perhaps, but you're moving across a cast of characters. And so your focus is just on something very different. So the experience of reading Richard's wonderful new short story collection is that I felt I was encountering a world populated by these characters, but in which I had to accept that all these people, in a sense, were going through these similar moments in parallel, and that's such a different readerly experience than reading a novel where you spend a long time with one character often, or two characters. And so the provincial tale and short story moves in and out of focus, and inevitably then you're not so much thinking about the individual as a set of people whose lives might or might not be interrelated in some way. And so in Eliot's, hugely bold stroke, she moves from those short stories in Blackwood's Magazine, her first fiction, Scenes of Clerical Life, with the utterly uninteresting characters, and Janet, the alcoholic with the abusive husband. I mean, extraordinary subject.